So I think I was at the point where I was just recapping on what the attributes, some of the key attributes to include. But as I said before, this can be expanded to make your search more focused. So all African countries in this instance, anxiety and depression, psychosis, I guess, um, age, gender, and socioeconomic status, and then also period of time. So I'm putting 10 years there as an example. So these put together, and depending on where you are searching, because different platforms have different rules in terms of how you can link these things together. So one way that I've done this is to first look at each of the topics of interest, so anxiety, depression, so on, and see what comes up. Usually, if you're looking at one attribute, you will get loads of results coming back, depending on where you're searching. And then you start to combine them. So combine geography together with that aspect of mental health that you're interested in, combine the demographics, you combine maybe two attributes, and then keep combining as you're going. I think it's essential for whatever search attempt that you're doing to include the sort of mental health area that you're interested in. Because, for example, just searching for African or data on all African countries or data on all ages or on different ages and gender, that's too generic, right? So whatever search you're putting, you want to include the aspects of mental health that you're interested in. So I've got a question. Why is it important to define these attributes when searching for mental health data sets? We could even generalize it to say, why is it important to specify attributes when you're searching for data sets online, health data sets online? You can put in the chat, or if you feel like you want to say stuff, you can raise your hand. To make efficient search, to make your search more focused, yeah. Yeah, to be more objective, to save time, relevance, yeah. To have manageable data to work with, yeah. I think it helps, yeah, in those aspects, yes. So thank you very much. I think you are saying relevant responses there. Yeah, it is important to define the attributes because that helps to focus your search. I think that's what's being expressed in different ways in the answers you're putting in the chat to narrow down your search. Yeah. No, thank you. That's great. Okay. So here we defined our search criteria. I've made those suggestions over there. And then we go and search. So utilize various databases and data repositories. Use relevant keywords, such as what I've highlighted here. So it's identifying the relevant keywords and then trying different combinations of those relevant keywords. And as we said before, consider both general and specialized repositories. By general repositories, we are talking about repositories where data from different domains are kept. Specialized ones might be, a database or a data repository on nutrition or on mental health or on non-communicable diseases. So search both at the beginning. You'll find that your search will be very broad at the beginning, but as you get more information, you can then be narrowing it down. What I've attempted to do on the right is to provide a list of various places where you can potentially get data. I'm not saying it's guaranteed that once you go there, you will find all the data that you need, but this is a good starting point. So if the Global Health Data Exchange, if you Google that, you'll get a link to it. The World Health Organization Data Repository, I visited that. There were aspects of mental health there, but I think one needs to look in a little bit more detail to see if you can find relevant stuff. The r3data.org, this is an index of repositories worldwide. So have a look and see what you can find relevant to our region. Mental Health Innovation Network, Mental Health Atlas, I haven't really visited those, but they sound like good places to go. The Global Burden of Disease Study, PubMed Central. So PubMed Central is more inclined towards research articles. But when you look into research articles, you can then, because there's always a part about what data was used in the research. So that may be a good pointer showing you what data might be available and who to contact. Google Scholar, again, and Google, just the actual Google may be a very good starting point. And then the databases, most institutions have journal article databases that they subscribe to. So those would be the places to visit as well. And then directory, yeah, as I was preparing for this, I saw this, the Director of Data Repositories in Africa. So it is an interesting place to visit, to see what might be available. And Google has this Google dataset search. So again, worthwhile visiting. So I just made this initial list to start with, but you need to grow it as you do your search. Then the World Bank data repository. So these are just sort of examples that I could come up with, but certainly you can expand it as you're doing your search. Okay. Again, just to say, listing and classifying. So open data portals, examples of sources, open data portals of African Northern institutions. So yeah, the other thing to point out here is that a repository might not be within the African region, might be elsewhere, might be in the UK or in the US or wherever else, but it's an institutional repository for an international university that does work in our region. So you may find an Australian region that's doing mental health work in Africa. So it's still worthwhile checking repositories that are outside our region to see if they have African data there. It was a relatively common practice in the past, perhaps even now, but it's sort of changing, that a lot of data collected on African populations, you'd find them in northern institutions, because I think within our region, it's an evolving area. This proper data archiving is still an evolving area. So perhaps in the future, we'll see more of African data sets residing within archives in Africa. And then, as we said before, see whether data can be freely accessed, or they require registration, or there's completely restricted access. So it might involve talking to particular individuals who are working on the project to see if you can get access. I've got some 2 questions here again for us to sort of look at and reflect. Just I guess keeps us going together. Just think about these questions. Some of them may not be very difficult, but they may not be complicated, but just keeps you, I guess, thinking about the topic that we are looking at. So why is it important to maintain a diary of contacts during the dataset search process? And what should you document in your diary of contacts? It's something that we covered a bit earlier, and also, the example of the content that I put there is just a starting point. You might think of other things that are important in the context of following up on a data set that you're interested in, but is not immediately available.